I call Jonathan Young, 5 minutes.
Yes, thank you, sir, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on this bill. And can I say what an excellent mayoral bid speech that came from Mrs. King, talking about the great city of Wellington, the cultural centre, and cafes and galleries, and actually that's what New Plymouth's been called. The emerging cultural centre of Heartland, New Zealand. So I know what you're talking about. And by Auckland travel writers, of course, Mr. Nash. Nobody from the East Coast would say that about the West Coast, I know, but only because they have a bias that is misinformed. Sir, this is a very important bill to speak about, and the government does realise that there are issues around harm minimisation that need to be attended to regarding Class 4 gambling. One of the things that we do understand, sir, in this country is that if the government were not involved in the management of such areas, that there could be even greater harm. One of the concerns there is, of course, is the online gambling that happens that's unrestricted. And so when the government can look at what happens with pokies right throughout the country and have appropriate legislation to ensure that there is a minimum harm, then that is a good thing. So, sir, the problem gambling levy currently raises $55 million over 3 years to fund services and to minimise the harm caused in communities. This is used on frontline counselling, including dedicated services for Māori, Pacific and Asian communities. And gambling policy is always a balancing act for the government. It's worth remembering that many people gamble and do have fun responsibly. And while the money raised for the community from all types of gambling is also significant, and I think my colleague Mark Mitchell mentioned about surf life-saving clubs, who throughout this country work very hard over the summer seasons. In fact, they go to remote beaches where there's hardly any community except for the summertime, and who have no ability to fundraise locally, yet are able to receive some sort of benefit from different societies to enable them to continue to serve the New Zealand community on those beaches. So we have to say that the behaviour of some Class 4 gambling society has been less than the best and been very disappointing. But, sir, there are signs of progress, and what this amendment bill does is bring far more attention to those remisses of behaviour that have happened, and that's good. So as time progresses, of course, technology improves, and there are new ways in which somebody can be identified as a problem gambler, and there are ways in which mitigation can be put in place. And so it's very important that there is a very strong and robust process upon which the proceeds of gambling is handled. And so this amendment bill, sir, covers many of those facets to ensure that the benefit that comes from gambling is returned back to the community, 37% of proceeds, and that there isn't some rorting of the system where the community doesn't receive that level of benefit. So gambling is with us in our community, in our societies. As I said before, online gambling is unmonitored and unmoderated, and there's some real concern about that. And so it's important that amendment bills such as this make progress to make the potential harm minimised and the benefits maximised to our communities. Thank you, sir.
I call Barbara Kuriga, 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker,